Hello everybody and welcome, Rich here, and in this video today we're going to be looking at the patch notes coming for Operation Ember Rise. Now we do have quite a lot to get through in this video with this latest patch notes, so it might be worth popping the kettle on, getting yourself a cup of tea and sitting down for the next 10 minutes or so, and hopefully the footage going on in the background there that I managed to get from a capture event recently for Operation Ember Rise will kind of keep you a little bit entertained along the way. But anyway, get yourself a cup of tea and let's get into this. Now I'm sure most of you will be aware that yesterday was the big reveal for the new season coming in Rainbow Six Siege, Operation Ember Rise, and I had a lot of videos covering the new details of the operators, their gadgets and the new seasonal weapon skins coming, all of which will be linked in the description down below. So if you haven't seen those, definitely worth going to check out. But for now, let's get into these patch notes for Operation Ember Rise. Now there is a lot of information going on here, and if you do want to read through everything, I will leave a link to the Ubisoft webpage where there are a lot more details about the two new operators, Amaru and Goyo, and everything coming in Operation Ember Rise. But in this video, I just wanted to highlight some of the big changes coming within this patch. So first of all, we're going to take a look at shotgun destruction, and shotguns will now destroy wooden beams more reliably. We all know how frustrating it can be sometimes when you're trying to make a rotation hole with a shotgun and there's those annoying little bits of beams that don't quite get destroyed. So that will hopefully be fixed within this patch. They're also going to be changing some sidearm destruction, and the Rhino 40, which is Alibi and Maestro's revolver obviously, and the LFP 586, which is the GIGN revolver, will have the same destruction output as the D50. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at secondary gadget changes, and there are some very big changes here, so do pay attention. First of all on the list is Smoke, and Impact will be replaced with a deployable shield. Rook will see his deployable shield replaced with barbed wire. Jaeger will be losing his deployable shield and instead will be gaining a bulletproof camera. For Frost, she'll be losing her barbed wire and that will be replaced with a deployable shield. Mirror will also be losing the deployable shield, but this time will be replaced with barbed wire. Lesion is losing the deployable shield and will instead gain a bulletproof gamma. And Maestro will be losing his deployable shield. This will be replaced with impact grenades. Warden is also losing impact grenades but will be replaced with a deployable shield. Dockerby is losing stun grenades and these will be replaced with frags. Glaz is losing his claymore and this is going to be replaced with frags. And lastly, Nock is losing her stun grenades and these will be replaced with a claymore. So there's some really interesting secondary gadget changes there, and it really would be interesting to see what you guys think about that. I do see that some of them are pretty obvious as to why they've changed, but some of them are a little bit questionable. But like I say guys, do let me know how you feel about that. The ADS time for all shield operators is going to be increased from 0.4 of a second to 0.6 of a second. I know that doesn't sound like a massive difference, but I guess when you're taking into consideration its shield operators, it is quite a bit of a change. Next up on the list is Jackal, and the PDW will now properly lose damage over distance. So base damage is 38, damage at 18 meters still at 38, and it will drop down to 26 at 28 meters. For Twitch and Lion, the 417 will now have 10 additional rounds per magazine, and for Fuse, the deployment time for the cluster charge will be reduced from 2 seconds down to 1.6 seconds. Again, 0.4 of a second doesn't sound like a major difference, but I'm sure it is actually quite noticeable. Kaid will have the damage increased on the AUG A3. This is going up to 36 from 33. And lastly on this list is Warden, and duration increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, and they say that they've made the movement penalty while looking through smoke less punishing. So you now reach your final opacity level more quickly and suffer less opacity restriction when making small movements. Now, I'm sure all of us could see that change coming from a mile away, because Warden, as he was when he was actually released in Operation Phantom Sight, was so situational. I don't think he's been picked very often at all. I personally don't think I've actually played Warden or Nook throughout this whole season. That is partially down to the fact that they just do not suit my playstyle. But anyway, do let me know guys what you think about those changes. Next up here, we're going to take a look at some general tweaks and improvements coming with this Ember Rise patch. The first thing here obviously is the new deployable shield, which I'm sure you've all seen now. This will actually be coming with the release of Operation Ember Rise. This has obviously been in a test server for quite a while. And also electronic gadget disable state. They're going to be implementing Thatcher's debuff icon when defenders are under the effect of Thatcher's EMP grenades, and will extend to gadgets that are attempting to be deployed while in the disabled state. Now, I've not actually seen anything of this so far, so once the test server launches today, hopefully I'm going to be jumping in for a couple of hours just to test some of these things out. Next up here, we'll take a look at some player comfort changes, and first up on this list is Capitão. And the first thing they say is asphyxiating bolts are no more. In conjunction with an updated propagation and visual effects system, Capitão has replaced his asphyxiating bolts with fire bolts. So that is really interesting. He's going to have nothing but fire bolts from now on. There's some notes here on rank restriction, and they will be implementing a limit to the MMR gap between party members. There cannot be a bigger gap than 1000 MMR between the players with the highest and lowest MMR in the squad in order to play ranked. Players can check their squad members' MMR in the side panel profile. For players above 4400 MMR, that's basically diamonds, you're able to group with any player above 3400, that's platinums, and players below 1200 MMR can group with players below 2200. This is an absolutely massive change because for someone like me, I don't play ranked very often, but when I do, some of my friends that I play with are a lot higher ranked than me, so I'm basically no longer going to be able to play with them. I do kind of see why they've done this, but yeah, I do think it's going to affect a lot of people playing with their friends, me included. So do guys let me know what you think about that. This is really important. Voltage distance is going to be adjusted with this patch, and they're going to be reducing it from 2.5 meters down to 2. And lastly here, the parameters for surrender being available have also been adjusted. It will now require a unanimous vote and only become available at the start of the third round. For it to become available, the surrendering team will be required to have lost the previous 2 rounds. Next up here, we've got quite a big list of some gameplay changes and a lot of things that they have fixed which are currently bugged in the game. First up on the list is the fact that it was possible to remove recoil from any gun by following some steps. Will hopefully be all sorted with this patch. In more than 70 FPS, using macro input or hold to crouch controls, players can change very quickly between prone and standing stances. Will hopefully be all sorted. The end of the counter diffusing animation is slow, will now be sorted out. Players can move a bit while counter diffusing will be fixed. While players are holding a gadget, they can quickly swap to their weapon by pressing secondary gadget button, will be fixed. When the breach charge is placed on the floor, it can deal damage through an unbreakable surface to characters that are below the explosion point, will be fixed. The breach charge can deal damage through walls that are not destroyed by the explosion when it is placed in corners. C4 does no damage if on an indestructible floor and not attached to the ground, will be fixed. A drone can get stuck inside deployable shields. Collision if the defender deploys a shield on top of the drone, will be sorted. Drones remain floating in the air after throwing into an operator, having different replication for the one that threw it. Players first access pre-destroyed cameras after most map cameras are destroyed. That's a really frustrating one, right? That should have been fixed a long time ago. Anyway, ballistic shields can sometimes prevent player clients from letting them vault after dying. Operators positioned near a ladder can only pick up the shield after looking at its sides. And lastly, operators can spectate the area where they died if the last camera of support group is destroyed. Sorry about rattling those off so quickly there, but there are quite a few there to get through. There's nothing too major there, I don't think, but obviously a lot of little bugs there that were very frustrating to play with, so hopefully they will all be fixed for this new patch. Now, like I say, there are a few other items in this patch notes along with operator changes and fixes that they've done. I'm not going to go through those here because, like I say, we'll just be here forever going through every single little note they've put here. But if you do want to read everything there will be a link in the description down below to, like I say, the Ubisoft website. There's nothing, again, like I say, too major going there as far as operator fixes go, but definitely worth a check if you do want to go and check those out. Anyway, some really big changes we've gone through there coming for the new patch in Operation Ember Rise. Do, like I say, guys, let me know what you think about these changes. I think the biggest one for me is going to be the MMR difference for your friends when you're playing ranked. That's definitely going to have the biggest impact on me. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I do, as always, appreciate your time. And until next time, goodbye.
Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.